Hello and welcome to Gaming with Kyle. I'm your host, Kyle. Today I'm playing Endless Legend. This is going to be this. I'm going to be doing two series on my channel. So I'm going to be doing Endless Legend and Crusader Kings 2. Endless Legend is going to be posted on Wednesdays and Crusader Kings on Fridays, I believe is how it's going to work. So, Endless Legend. It's a fun game. I really enjoy this game. It's it's a strategy game like Crusader Kings 2, but it's a little bit more less grand arc strategy and more like in focus. Anyways, well, basically the premise of this game is there's all sorts of different races living on this planet. They crash landed from a spaceship from a different Endless game, and these are the survivors, and these are the civilizations that exist. They've kind of forgotten their past, whatever. So today, what I'm going to be playing as, I think, is I'm going to play as the. Let's see. I think I'll play as the Broken Lords. They're a little bit interesting. I'll explain as I go along. Hopefully, it's not too bad. I know the frame rate's kind of low, but let's put that in normal. I know the frame rate's a little low, so I'm sorry. You know, my computer's a few years old now, so. Anyways, loading. Alright, so the basic premise of this game is you settle cities and regions, and those cities, you know, kind of like Civilization, they make you money. And they make you money, they produce buildings and soldiers, as well as research and, you know, all sorts of stuff. But the catch is you can only settle one city in one region, so you have to like totally explore a region before deciding where to put a city, because there might be good spots beyond the fog of war. And then once you kind of expand, there's like an expansion phase where you expand your empire. Then you can build soldiers or research technology. There's like different ways to win. There's like a technological victory, a war victory, and there's technology, war, diplomacy, and I think there is one other one. Like if you finish because each faction has a quest line, and I'll show you what I mean by that here in a second. All right, so we're almost done loading. All right, I thought we were almost done loading. Almost done loading. Almost done loading. All right. Oh, I see what it is. It's the loading bar for each thing. I think this is the last one. Normally is. Sorry for making you sit through the loading screen. Oh, waiting for other players. There are no other players, so it's just waiting on me. Here we go. I'll let this video play. It might be a bit too quiet, so. All right, so that gives you a little overview of how the Broken Lords are. This, and let me explain. Dust is not the stuff that you find on your table after you haven't like cleaned in a week. Not at least not in this game. Dust is money. Okay, so let me go around and show you all the different resources. First off, I think that's important. All right. Okay, so. If you're new to this game and you've never played it before and you want the same kind of numbers, it's right down here. It's this little button. It's kind of tucked away. You've also got a nice button here, like if you want the grid without that. But if you have this button, you're going to have the grid regardless. This shows you your FIDs, and FID stands for Food, Industry, Dust, and Science. All right. So they're the four basic resources you need for any city. So this is the symbol for science, this is the symbol for industry, this is the symbol for dust. And there is no, because I'm playing Broken Lords, they don't worry about food. Maybe this was a bad race to start with, but they're one of my favorites, so I apologize for that. Normally food would be right here, and it's like a little grain symbol. Like if I ever hover over a tile, if that one that has food, like this one here, it's down there in the bottom left corner. It says +6 food from Oasis, +1 from terrains with terrain with plains, and then -7 from appetite for dust. That's one of my race's traits, so they completely ignore all food. So basically what I want to do is find a city that gives me a bunch of good stats. Now right off the bat, this looks like a good spot over here because it gives me plenty of dust. Now dust, like I said earlier, is money, and that's these guys' life force, as the video kind of explained. I don't know if you could hear it, but it had the subtitles at the bottom, so hopefully you read it. Basically, they survive off dust. Their bodies have been destroyed, and dust is, if what you learn from another game called Endless Space, is a bunch of tiny golden nanobots. And to these guys, it seems like magic, but in the other game, Endless Space, they know what it is. But their bodies, their souls, basically, are being held together now by dust inside their armor. So what the dust is the most important part to these guys, because that's what allows them to expand their population and allows them to heal and all the good jazz, unlike the other races which use food for that. So what I'm going to do straight off is break up this unit, because your soldiers and your units on the map can be grouped together under a hero, but at the beginning I want to be able to explore as much of this map and get a good spot for my first city. So instead of keeping these guys as a unit, I'm going to send one off towards the north to see what's up there. Now this spot still looks pretty good. It's still probably the best spot I've got open at the moment, but we'll see. And then we'll send this guy, put him one out, and then send him that way. Okay. Now these pop up whenever you find a new village. This is the village of the bows, and they are centaurs, right? And that's their village. We uncovered it from the Fog of War, so that's why that message popped up. All right, so looking at this, I would say my best bet for my first city would probably be here, because I'll get 8 dust from that, and I'll be getting 8 dust from that, as well as 4 extra industry. I'll have some other resources around, so it's not too bad. I'll probably find something down here that's much better, but it's important at the beginning of the game to lose, to colonize on your first turn, or else you're going to be behind the other players right away. Okay, so this is your first city, and when you colonize a new place, this window pops up, and I'm going to explain to you each of these things one by one. Now, we'll start down here at the bottom. This is the window of things that you can build, whether it be soldiers, like stalwarts, which I'm probably pronouncing that terribly wrong, but that's the basic first unit of the Broken Lords, as well as buildings like the Founders Memorial. And you can only build this once. It's kind of like a wonder, but it gives your first city a nice boost to resources that might be missing. And the other one we can build at the time right now is the Empire Mint, which is almost necessary for Broken Lords because it gives them extra dust. This window just shows what you're building, so I know for a fact I'm gonna start with these two because I'm gonna need them. So this queues up and tells you how long it's gonna take. So it's gonna take 5 turns to build that, and then on top of that, this one's gonna take 6 turns for a total of 11. Now the way the building works is at the bottom here, you see the cost. It says 60 industry, and at the top here shows what resources our city is actually making. So you can see that we're making 12 industry right now, which is how they figure out this 5, because 12 times 5 gives 60, right? So any excess industry that you might make will pour over to your next construction. So don't worry about losing that. But this is a good place to start on this window up here. I'll come back to this one down here in a second. This is your resources, what this city's producing. This bottom bar is the total production, and this top bar is the inherent. I don't know what's the word. the inherent production per citizen. All right. Now these are citizens. I can move them around. So if I move him into science, you'll see my industry will go down, and thus my turns for how long this will take will go up. But I'll also gain science. And this is why you want to grow the populations of your cities, because for each, every time you tick over onto a new population number, you get an extra citizen to move around. Now, for Broken Lords, it's important to have money, but I want to be able to build those things fast. So I'm going to leave that there, though I'm probably going to put my next citizen there, depending on the situation. Back down here real quick, though. This just shows you what soldiers are garrisoned in the city. You can have up to 4, and your city automatically produces these militia. You can't take them out of the city, but they're there just in case you're attacked by somebody and don't have any soldiers nearby. And they'll help you defend yourself, maybe a little bit. They're not that good, but they can sometimes sway the battle. Next little window is this one, the happiness. You want to keep this up. The higher your happiness, the more production is being done. This is your population counter. As you can see from the explanation from the tooltip, it says 1 from each city population, or 1 from city population, and then plus 0 from pacified villages. As you take over these villages and pacify them, you can get extra citizens from them. So I'll show you how that works when we get to it. This window shows you shows you what's in the region, and as you can see, this region is highlighted in red, even though I haven't discovered all of it. And this is, like I said earlier, you can only build 1 city per region, and this window kind of tells you what's in your region. So it's telling me that I don't know what race is living in my region yet. Like, for instance, as we saw earlier, these guys were the Bows, and these guys were the Gowron. And so we don't know who's living here yet, but we'll find that out shortly. It also shows us whether or not the village has been pacified. Because we haven't discovered it yet, we don't know. The third thing it shows us is what kind of resources are around. So for instance, for us, it's titanium, which is this blue stuff here. This last window is just the window that's on every screen of the game. It shows you how much money you've got, and as well as your, I don't know what this is called. I normally just call it the star stuff. It is called, what is it called? Influence. There we go. And influence is the 5th resource in this game, but it's not made on the map. It's made from buildings in your city, and sometimes there are a few of these not wonders, but some of these natural anomalies that give you it, but they're very few and far between. And you can increase this by putting citizens there, and this lets you do diplomatic stuff. Excuse me. So, like, if you are doing diplomacy with somebody, you need to have the influence to do different actions, like offer peace and such. So that's basically the overview of the cities. So, and we're still on my first turn. So what we're going to go ahead and exit out of the screen. And I'm going to tell all my soldiers to come back to this spot. And hopefully they'll all get their next turn. And then we'll go do some exploring. So now there's nothing else for us to do. We can click the end turn button down here. Oh, I did miss something. Research. This is a research screen. A little bit complicated, but not too bad. So I'll explain to you. Each technologies are grouped in eras, and then each era is grouped has 4 different slices. One is like industry, science and industry, economy and population, military, and empire and expansion. Now, when you unlock a certain amount of technologies, in this case I think it's 9, you unlock the next era of tech. And these ones are more expensive, but as you unlock new eras, the old technologies also get more expensive. So you have to really be smart about what you pick. So the first technology I'm going to pick is probably going to be this one. Wait, no, not that one. This one, Mill Foundry, because it gives me extra production. So I'm going to go ahead and click that one. And production's kind of kind of important early on. So that's the turn. Now this time I can click end turn. So I'll let that tick over. It has to load because it's deciding what everybody else is doing. Here we go. Okay. So this is, after your first turn, your quest comes in. So I'll read this to you. The quakes and fires appear to be over. We lost the city and are now homeless, but we are strong and remain unbowed. The first step is to secure our new home, to found a city, build an army, and explore the ancient places. For our experience tells us this, if it tells us nothing else, the ancient ruins scattered across the map are places of great knowledge, great wealth, and great danger. For all of those reasons we must explore and exploit them, with caution, however. Any place of great value will be guarded by creatures of great strength. We must not forget this. Exploration will also take their mind off our condition, and this new method for dealing with it. Dust is expensive and difficult to exploit, but this new way, this draining of living souls to sustain our forms, it goes against who we are. It violates our principles, our honor. It is everything we have been fighting against, and yet, it is easy. Yep, there's like nice little blurbs here, so I like reading those. And then it just gives you the objective in the summary. And the summary is build an army and explore the area around your new city. Carefully explore ruins in the region to find remnants of Endless technology. Endless are like the creators of Dust. They existed before all the other civilizations, and they're super powerful. But they disappeared in like a civil war. So then it gives you a new objective, being a little bit more specific. Escort a Broken Lord hero with at least 3 infantry units to inspect the temple ruins, and I get a reward of 15 gold. Now, it will highlight them with these little rays of dust, as you can see where my mouse is pointing right here. It will have these little rays of dust, and that's showing you where you need to go, but I don't have 3 units of infantry, I only have 2, so I'm going to have to build a new one. So I'm not going to go right there straight away. But what I am going to do is I'm going to explore these ruins. Well, I didn't find anything. Sometimes you can find money or new technology or even new quests. So next turn he'll go down there. For your second turn, it's fairly simple. You basically are just waiting for things to build now and for your guys to discover things. I hope you all are enjoying this. I'm enjoying playing it, and I enjoy explaining it, so hopefully. Alright, so we're going to search these guys. Aha! Like I said, 40 dust. Now, dust is super important for us, because unlike the other civilizations where you collect food and over a certain amount of turns, that food will give you an extra unit, we buy our new population. So I just got some gold, or some dust, so I'm going to buy a new unit of population. This is going to boost my production up. And I have enough money left over from that, I can go ahead and buy this. And you can buy a building for twice its industry cost. So because I've already produced it a little bit, it's gone down to 71 dust. So I'm going to go ahead and buy that. And that means it's only going to take 5 turns, I think, for all this to build. So that's very good for us. So where are we going to send you next? I don't see any other ruins nearby, so I guess we'll just explore to the south of us. What's going on down here? All right, and then end turn.